Okay, good morning, everybody. This is the news we are waking up to for Friday, December the 13th, day 1024 of the full scale invasion. And we don't know yet how many drones and missiles were sent at the territory of Ukraine last night, right? We've been talking about the fact that for the first 10 days of December, uh, the incoming was half of what it was for every day in November. Then we had 3 days, 3 nights in a row with nothing, nothing. And it's because they were saving it all up for tonight, or last night, rather. Now, look, I can tell you, I was here at the house. The Laughter is the Best Medicine crew was here with me, and we were baking. And one of our guys, Valeri, was late. He texts me, he's running late because there's a drone over Pechursk and he's hiding under an awning of a building nearby, right? Like that's daily life. I heard it. I heard it overhead when I went out on the porch for a cigarette. Uh, Last night, now I can't say for sure, right? But what you're looking at here is one of the Telegram channels that I monitor. This is the official Telegram channel for the Air Force. And you can see every drone, every rocket attack gets logged in here, and people are warned that it's in their area. And this is for the whole country. And I went through this, and since last night, as near as I stopped counting after a while because there were just too many. But it looks to me like it was well over 100, possibly over 150 drones. The fact that the Air Force, it's already 11:30. Usually the Air Force publishes its numbers at 8:30 in the morning. And we haven't seen anything published, tells me that this is still ongoing. And I can, well, here, let me show you. If I switch over here for a second to, oh, for the love of God. If I just switch over here for a second, look, can you see this? This is an application that I use, and the red planes, if you can see them, that's where this is still ongoing. Everything else is green. Something like 10 Tupolev 95s, which are the big bombers, were launched last night against the territory of Ukraine. We can see here every region of the country was under attack. There was nowhere that was spared last night, or indeed, even now is being bombed. We see mixtures of glide bomb attacks, rocket attacks, aerial launched missile attacks, cruise missile attacks, ballistic missile attacks, all last night. Now, here's the good news, right? If Russia could afford to do this every day, they would. They had to cut the allotment in half for 10 days. Then they had to go 3 days with nothing to pull this shit off, to try to terrorize the people of Ukraine into submission. It's not going to happen. It's not. My buddy who was hiding under the awning last night, he was up in here making cookies and practicing. We have a Laughter is the Best Medicine has a show coming up on Tuesday, which I will not be able to stream because of the ban. Sorry. And so we were in rehearsal and baking cookies last night. And he was up here and we were laughing about the Russians 10 minutes after he had just been hiding from the drones. So please, Russia can fuck right off. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is insane. For their part, Ukraine is not taking any prisoners, boy. This is a military facility in Novosibirsk, which is on fire. And you can see whatever it is that they made there, they ain't making it again anytime soon. More good news. The brittle infrastructure of Russia is crumbling. If Ukraine can just hang on a little longer, boy, And if Trump doesn't fuck it up, it will be the end of Russia. It will be the end of Russia, and they know it, and that's why they're lashing out like this. Now, this is a correction video that I am so pleased to make this bit here. You might recognize this, right? From a video that I posted the other day about the Marine drone attack on the shipyards in Kerch, near the Kerch Bridge. And I said that the helicopters and airplanes of the Russian Federation came under rocket attack from Sea Babies. These are Sea Baby drones, right? This is what they look like. This is a Sea Baby drone, and we know that some of these have been fitted with rocket launchers. And so when we saw it firing at the helicopter in the video, I assumed it was one of the ones with the rocket launchers because I didn't know any better. It turns out that these are a new breed, a new variant of the Sea Baby, loaded with automatic weapons, with machine guns. And so when the Sea Baby started firing, the air traffic didn't know what to do. They all fled. And the men that were exposed couldn't believe that these things were a new combat platform that was taking them out. And they also fled. Of course you did, right? When Terminator comes for you, you run. Now dig it. Apparently this weapons platform, because really that's what the Sea Baby is now, it's a weapons and combat platform. Because not only did it have machine guns that it could return fire to the guys standing on the bridge, but additionally, it's a platform for launching FPV drones. Now, the government hasn't said this, but FPV drones usually have a range of like 20 kilometers, right? So that must mean that the Sea Baby is also a communications platform, that it's acting as a repeater. It's got a stronger signal back to the mothership so that they can control and fly the Sea Babies in near real time from somewhere back at the safety of the base. This, to me, is a stunning example of Ukrainian innovation in the face of adversity. This thing functions not merely as a kamikaze self-destruct one-way weapon, which it can do, but it functions as a combat platform to launch controlled aerial assaults, miles, hundreds of kilometers or miles away from the operators who are safe in a safe house somewhere. And it can defend itself. It can return fire. I don't know if that comes up on the screen. That's a message from Valeri, the guy I was just talking about. Anyway, Russia, you should be afraid. I mean, I know you're afraid all the time. That's why you're such a child about everything. But really, you should be afraid. The other part of this is that I reported it, as everyone did, that it was an attack against the naval shipyards there. Turns out it was actually an attack against the bridge. Now, it must not have been a successful attack because we're hearing from the government that they are still doing a damage assessment to see whether or not they actually did any damage. So it looks like while this was an incredible debut of this enhanced weapons platform, it may not have succeeded in doing the damage to the bridge that everybody wanted it to do. But that's okay, because it'll get another chance. Now, this guy is David Miliband. I wanted to touch on this because I think Syria is so important, and we're learning increasingly about just how important it is. And David Miliband works for the International Rescue Committee. They get hostages out of, or I'm sorry, refugees safe drinking water, medical facilities, etc., right? Out in the field. And so he's a guy, and his organization is an organization that is on in the rear echelons in Syria, right, trying to help the people, and have been for 20 years. Now, David Miliband, and I bring this up because we're all worried about HTS. Is HTS a jihadist organization that is going to turn the country into another Afghanistan? And Mr. Miliband is cautiously optimistic. Cautiously optimistic. He said that for him, he's not seeing the kind of dictatorial red flags that you get as a humanitarian organization in country. He said the organization is allowed to hire whoever they want, right? It's not like, oh, you have to hire my cousin and then don't expect him to show up. It's not like that, right? They can hire whoever they want, fire whoever they want. They can treat whoever they want. That's a big deal when you've got ethnic and religious conflict, because the side in control will tell you, no, don't you treat those other people. Don't treat the others. He's saying that medical treatment is available to all. Food and water is available to all. All are welcome to assist with his projects in Syria. That's all very hopeful. But Mr. Miliband is a realist. And he went on to say, we've got to recognize that there are dangers here. The power vacuum created could be exploited by ISIS, Al Qaeda, and other bad actors. And that's what we don't want to see. So, a guy who's in the shit has said he is cautiously optimistic about the outlook for Syria. And I think we all should try to be, until they give us a reason not to be. This comes, so on the same day that the U.S. announces a new $500 million package, the Biden administration, for Ukraine, that includes HIMARS ammunition, air defense rockets, small arms ammunition, etc., right? I noted on the list there was protective gear for radiological and biological attacks. I thought that was interesting. I don't remember. I'm not saying that we haven't sent it in the past, but as my memory goes, this is the first time I've seen hazmat gear for the Ukrainian army. I could be wrong. And that may speak to an elevated threat level for chemical, biological, or nuclear attacks. We know that the Kremlin has doubled the staff and the size of its chemical, biological research facility, weapons research facility, which I want to say is between, it's somewhere between Moscow and Petersburg, if I'm not mistaken. They've doubled the size of the staff and the compound since the start of the full-scale invasion. So there could be indications that they're working on something. So the same day that these revelations come out and this package is announced, Time has put Donald Trump on the cover as Person of the Year. Now, it is important to note that for Time magazine, the Person of the Year is not the best person. Rather, it is the influential person, the person who is making things happen in the world. And there is no doubt that the Russian victory of re-electing their stooge into the most powerful office in the world makes him a person that we should all be paying attention to. His outright statements that he is going to wreck the economies of North America, Canada, US, and Mexico mean that he is a person who is shaking things up, all for the self-aggrandizement of his own ego. and to make sure that he's got a permanent underclass that he can buy and sell and pay to shut up whenever he wants, like all these bastards do. It is a violation. It is an abnegation of all of our most sacred beliefs as Americans, and we should be disgusted by him. As I am, that's for sure. Okay. My only hope with Donald is that in his desire for a Nobel Peace Prize, he might just do some good here in Ukraine if he can get out from under the shadow of whatever compromise the Russians have on him. Finally, I just want to mention I got no lives till the 18th. I was banned for my cooking show. We were baking cookies, and all that hate speech over the cookies got me banned. And then the other thing is, guys, look, TikTok could be going away. I really hope that you will follow me here on Patreon. Come to the Patreon. Obviously, I'm speaking to the choir here because you wouldn't be seeing this if you weren't a paid Patreon subscriber. But not just support the Patreon. Come here for the content, please, because we do not know what tomorrow holds. I know what the day holds for me. I'm headed to the left bank to bake cookies. And so, Bobby and everybody else, I'm sorry, there won't be much, if any, news production during the day here. But I will get back. There is a lot happening, and I will get back to it just as quick as I can. Thanks, kids. Make it a great day.